Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping by to watch another one of my vlogs. As you can see, the background is different because a friend of mine has very kindly allowed me to use her flat for filming. We're going to do like a sit-down topic. So she doesn't live too far away from me at all. So she said to me, anytime I want to use her flat for vlogging, the door's open. So the door's open and here I am. So just a quick catch up before I dive into my topic today. I was at school today, wasn't feeling it today for whatever reason. I was there yawning, I was kind of lethargic. I think it's because I got back really late from work yesterday. I got back about 10 p.m. No, it was just before 10 p.m. And I just wasn't really probably able to engage and connect in today's class. I was there, I contributed as much as I could, but I just felt that, I don't know, I was just a bit wiped out. But it was good. I'm glad that even though we have movement class, she's doing a lot more stuff that's relevant to the course. So she just gets us loose and limbered up and whatever. So there's no tension in our bodies when we launch into the actual exercise she wants to give us. And at the moment, we're learning a lot of lines. There's a lot of lines for me to learn this week. There are two lots of lines to learn for movement class. There's a line the teacher gave us today. And then last week, she asked us to go away and find a play because she wants us to work on it up until the end of the term with her. And the lady that we have on Friday, we also have lines for her. We had to go away and find a play that we need to work on. It's a duologue, both plays are duologues. So I have to work on that. I'm getting ready to do a show reel early next month, and then we have lines for that. So I need to rehearse those lines. So it's just a lot of things to try and learn in a very, very short space of time, but it's just got to be done. So it's quite an interesting place I'm at right now. Yeah, rocked by the news, Kobe Bryant and all those people who were killed in his helicopter. I used to play basketball. I think I mentioned this before. I played basketball for England when I was 14 years old. And it was in the era of Michael Jordan. So the Chicago Bulls, they were the club. Michael Jordan was Mr. Basketball. He was the global ambassador for basketball. And I was playing basketball in that era. And I don't think I remember Kobe Bryant then because Jordan was just so dominant. You didn't really hear any name apart from his name. So there's a few other top level players, but his was the name that's predominant overall. But I do remember hearing about Kobe Bryant throughout the years. And his death actually just really knocked me for six. It really, really did. It just made me think about the brevity of life, the uncertainty of life. That you can just be going about your business, and then out of the clear blue sky, wham, something happens. But I was watching a video of somebody who's paying tribute to Kobe Bryant, and he says that when Kobe Bryant was first in the league, when he was first coming up, he would say, I want to die young and leave a legacy. And I thought, ooh, we've got to be careful of the things that we say. We've got to be careful. I believe in the power of words. I know I'm impacted by the power of words. If you search your own life, you'll see how words have been very powerful and properly affected you in a positive or negative way years after they were said. I just think it's horrible. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying that it's just words themselves that did this, or it was pilot error, it was too foggy and whatever, but his death really, really hit me hard. It's got me really reflecting on a lot of things. There was his death. Obviously, I don't know him at all. Just like I've known about his career and so forth throughout the years. But then on what was it now? It was on the last Wednesday. It was the Wednesday before. I went to a funeral of a lady who was at journalism college with me. She was the oldest in the class, and she was the one that lacked the most confidence in the beginning. But then when she got into her stride, she just rose to the class leader. She was the one that people looked to, and she was the one that rose the fastest. She set up her own publishing company when she left college. She created 4 magazines. She was a mentor. She was a teacher. She was an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. She's super creative, really friendly, loving, bubbly, open and warm. She somehow developed dementia, and that's what ultimately took her life. And I remember thinking when I heard of that it was such a cruel irony because she was so brilliant. She was so creative, and to be robbed of her mind to me was just such a cruel thing. When I went to her funeral and I heard all different eulogies about her and different things people had to say about her, that was a Barbara I knew. Do you know what I mean? She was funny, she was mischievous. Some of her humour was very close to the bone, shall we say, but she's a great person, really wonderful, really warm, really caring, would do anything for anybody really. But the one thing that stood out to me that someone said about her was that she died empty, meaning all of the gifts and skills and talents and everything that she had, she gave them all out. So if she was able to stand here today, she would have no regrets. I mean, she might want to still be with her children and see her grandchildren grow up, but concerning her own personal life, she used every single gift and skill and talent that she had to the maximum. At the end of every year, I tend to be quite reflective. I'm sure many of us are that way. And at the time, there was this 10-year challenge. I don't know if you saw that. What the 10-year challenge was that different people were showing a montage of pictures of them from 2009 to 2019 to show where they started and how they ended the decade. Typically, it was like they started the decade at school, then college, university, got a job, their first apartment, their first home, married, children, and so forth. With others, mainly about their career, how their career just really kind of, took off and this, that, and the other. And I was looking at these things, I was thinking, wow, these are some really amazing changes that took place in people's lives. But if you're like me, and you were looking at that and thinking, the changes in my life haven't been as radical, then this vlog is for you. I'm calling it the art of not waiting, because that was kind of what I was doing. If I'm looking back throughout the 10 years, throughout the years from 2009 to 2019, I was spending a lot of time waiting for things to happen rather than going out and grabbing life by the horns and making things happen. And it was a real eye-opener for me when I reflected on my life. There weren't really many significant changes. I was like, wow, what have you been doing with your life, man? Seriously, because when I looked at those pictures and I tried to take snapshots in my mind of the trajectory of my life from 2009 up to 2019, very little had happened. Very, very little had happened. And that was kind of like, it was a wake-up call and made me stop and realize, right, you've really got to get your act together. You've got to be a lot more daring and take a lot more risks. And I know I've kind of touched upon this before, but I want to look at it in a little bit more depth. So what I first started to do is ask myself, why had I not made much progress? What was it that kept me in pretty much the same place from the beginning of the decade until the end? And then I realized I still had the mindset of things will just work out, so I can sit back and things will happen in their time. Like when things are supposed to happen, it will happen. I wasn't being proactive. I wasn't chasing my dreams. I only started really doing that in 2019 when I auditioned for acting school and got in. Another thing I was doing was just kind of leaving it all up to God, because this is kind of what I've been taught from childhood. You pray, then you kind of take certain steps, and then you just leave it to God and kind of hope for the best, trust that things will happen in their time. Yes and no. But I've come to realize it's my life is my responsibility, and I need to shape it and direct it the way I want it to go. You can't just sit back and have a laissez-faire attitude like I had, that just, things just work out, it'll all be all right. No, it won't. We have to take the position that we want our lives to go a particular way, that we need to do everything that we can to make our lives go that particular way. Whether it's studying, whether it's, relocating, or whatever it is that we need to do in order for us to fulfill the things that are in our heart, the dreams that we have, we need to do it. And that's what I hadn't been doing. So, starting as soon as possible. I don't necessarily believe in putting dates and deadlines on things, because for me that really doesn't work. But I know that I've made the decision that I'm going to pursue and go forward with everything that I see that I desire to do. So that's what I've started to do. Start to put the feelers out in a number of different ways to try and, how can I put it? I'm scattering seeds, put it that way. Doing my research, trying to push that door to see that door open, trying to push that door to see that door open. I'm being a lot more proactive in the direction that I want my life to take. I'm having more of a hand in steering it that way, rather than just kind of sitting there and just hoping for the best. Do you know what I mean? We've got to take action. I'll keep telling myself, I've got to take action. So if I wanted to do a step-by-step thing, I'd say to, number one, identify what it is you want to do. And identify what you need to do in order to make this thing come to pass. Like I said, do you need to study? Do you need to get a mentor? Do you need to go away? Whatever. Do whatever it is that is required of you in order to fulfill the destiny that you believe is on your life. Number two, I'd say check in with yourself and ask yourself some questions. Why have you not made progress? Now, I gave you a few reasons as to why I didn't make progress, but there's something else I didn't mention and I wanted to kind of like expound on that a bit more. Over the last 10 years, in different ways, directly and indirectly, people have kept on challenging me about not being confident. The last time I heard that, this was between September and November of last year. A woman who'd never met me before, I'd never met her before, made this statement. Your inside doesn't match your outside. Outside, you can appear to be very strong, very solid, like an oak, you're immovable. But inside, you come across, you're very, almost like you've got a crushed spirit. You're very, not weak, but you're not strong inside. And I've heard that in a number of ways over the years. So one of my tasks is to try to drill down on what this lack of confidence is. Where has this lack of confidence come from? What is the root cause of it? Identify it and deal with it so that the next 10 years won't look like the last 10, because lack of confidence makes us procrastinate. It makes us shy away from taking risks. It makes us shy away from stepping out and doing things that we're more than capable of doing, that we're more than skilled at doing, but because we lack the confidence, we don't have the courage to go forth and do things. Like I was mentioning in my last vlog, there was something that a YouTuber had mentioned as a side hustle that I applied to or begun to apply to. I believe it was either earlier last year or the year before. You know how the years are going past so quickly and all the years are blending into one. So it seems to me. But at some point I thought, no, I can't do this. I don't have the confidence to do this. I can't go through with this. But when I saw the thing this year, I just applied for it, no problem. So I thought, what was it then that held me back from doing the thing now? And the only thing I can think of is complete lack of confidence. But between last year and this year, my confidence has grown to the extent that what held me back last year isn't holding me back this year, which is a good thing. That's the first thing I identified. In certain areas where I would not have taken that risk previously, I'm taking that risk now. But there's still a lot more work to be done. I'm really interested in going on this journey to drill down and find out what is at the root cause of this lack of confidence. Why is it that it takes me so long to get into my stride of doing things? Why is it that I know I can do it, but when I don't know how to explain, it's really weird. I know I can do the thing, but fear causes me to shrink back and say I can't do it, even though I know I can, and I have got paid for doing this very thing in the past. But fear, lack of confidence, insecurity holds me back. But I'm encouraged by the fact that there are certain things that were holding me back last year that aren't holding me back this year, but I want to go all the way with that. I want to look at every single area of my life to make sure that I'm not operating out of lack of confidence this year, so that these next few years can be ultra productive. That's what I want to be. I want to be ultra productive. I want to give my all in every single area of my life. And then the third thing I'll say is focus. When you have identified what it is you want to do, or the things that you enjoy doing, or you have an inkling that this is the direction that you want to go in that direction and don't get tossed about. Don't let yourself get tossed about. Follow that direction. One thing I've observed over the last few years is that there's a number of people I follow on social media and in different ways. One thing they all have in common, the reason they went from here to here was because they were focused and they were consistent in whatever it was they were doing. They didn't let anything or anyone pull them off of the path they had plotted themselves and said, I'm going this way, and that is the way they went. It wasn't easy for a lot of them. Some of them struggled. For some of them, it just seemed like it went just like that. They went up like a rocket, it seemed, in a very short space of time. But the one thing it all had in common was that they all put their mind to do whatever it is they wanted to do, and they are now very successful. I don't know about their battles with insecurities. Maybe that's something I should ask them, how they overcame that, how they identified what the insecurities were, how they identified where their lack of confidence was coming from, and how they defeated that, how they went forward scared, as some people say. I want to know how they did that, because maybe there's some things that I can learn in that. But that aside, focus. You've got to focus, and you'll find in a good period of time, you'll see that the things that you are focusing on, those seeds that you're sowing, the effort that you're putting into something, that will eventually come back to you, and you'll see that all of that is part of the fruit of your labour. My thing this year is that I'm going to focus on my acting. I'm going to make sure I'm in class all the time, which I am anyway, making sure I'm focused, really taking advantage of all the free class and things on the YouTube and in any other areas. There are a couple of masterclasses which I am prepared to pay for, and I need to do, because otherwise I'm not going to excel. I want to excel, and the people that put together these masterclasses, they're excellent. So I want to learn from them, I want to learn from the best. How can I become the best in what it is I want to do? And then see where that leads me. So that's what my goal is this year, that these 10 years will not in any way, shape or form reflect the last 10 years. It just can't. But I'm glad that that 10-year challenge thing happened, because it was a real wake-up call for me as to how laissez-faire I had been in my approach to my goals and my approach to my dreams and things I said I desired. But if I desired them, why wasn't I putting the effort in towards them? It was because of lack of confidence and lack of self-belief. Why do I have that lack of confidence and lack of self-belief? That's what I've got to find out. I've got to deal with all of that so I can be free from all forms of fear, because lack of confidence is a form of fear as well. To be totally free from all of my fears and to actually go for it and to be excellent in whatever it is I end up doing. So this year, particularly this first quarter, my goal, my challenge to myself is that I must find a way to identify what the root causes of my lack of confidence are, what the triggers are, what created these roots and these beliefs, these negative belief systems in the first place, and to deal with that, because I don't want the rest of the year to be built on lack of confidence and low self-belief. I want to be able to deal with that, build a firm foundation of confidence in the first quarter of the year, so I can springboard off that for the rest of the year. That's what the goal is. I won't necessarily speak about it every vlog I do, but I will be let you know my progress as time goes on. So that's what I've got to wait and see. No, actually I haven't got to wait and see. So that's what I've got to be proactive in doing, and trying to find myself work I can do from home or do more locally, so that I get the time back that I'm currently losing traveling 4 to 5 hours there and back every day. So that's what I plan to do. So my goal for this year is to really, my goal for this quarter is to identify my weak spots, find out how I got those weak spots, to be healed in those areas, and to build a strong foundation upon which I can build everything else coming this year. So what are your goals for this year? Have you made any? I don't do resolutions. I always break those. I'm not emotionally invested in my resolutions. I don't normally make resolutions. I normally make goals. But I'm making sure that I'm being a lot more proactive in making things happen, because things have to happen, otherwise nothing's going to change. So let me know what your goals are. Let me know how you're finding January. Let me know if you're in a place where you started to really pay more attention to taking more responsibility for the direction your life is going in. We have got to take responsibility for the way our life is going. We're responsible, it's our life. That really hit me after the 10-year challenge, and realising that my life hadn't really changed that much. And in light of these two deaths, my friend Barbara and Kobe Bryant, and recognise that life is fleeting. Anything can happen just like that. We've all got giftings and skills, and we must lay hold of them. We can't let fear or any other thing prevent us from becoming who we're supposed to be. So whatever we have to do in order to free ourselves from all of the things that hold us back, to propel us into our future, into our destiny, we've got to do it. That's the way I feel. I really feel a sense of urgency myself to do things in a lot more deliberate and a lot more proactive way, because that is not how I lived the last 10 years, and those are just facts. But I can't blame anybody else. It's my own fault. Even with the insecurities and whatever, I allowed those insecurities in to seep in, and I shouldn't have done that. But today is another day. I've got another opportunity to make it right, so that's what I'm doing. So that's kind of my topic for today, just taking hold of my life and being responsible for my life, the decisions that I make and the places that I end up and the results that I get. I'm taking responsibility for all of that. I'm not leaving it in anyone's hands. I'm taking responsibility for my life. So that's it from me. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you haven't already done so. So take care. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.